Hey guys, welcome back to Micho Makes. My name is Micho, and I like to make stuff. Today I've got part 4 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. This is a 1/8 scale huge model that is going to take about over a year to make. So sit back, relax, and get comfortable, and we'll get started on this part. First thing I noticed actually with the other parts, the 1 through 3, is that they came in boxes, right? This one was actually wrapped in plastic, and I was kind of like, oh, I wonder why. And I realized that they kind of forego the box. Cost savings? I don't know. But it is just layered cardboard, which is kind of cool, frames. And then the top portion right here. And then we go right into the blister pack and the booklet that we get, the instruction booklet. So I'll go ahead and get this other stuff that's not a box over to the side, and then we will jump right into taking a look at the booklet first. All right, diving right into the booklet. Kind of gives you an overview of what we're going to be working on today. Again, more flavor about the AE86. I guess cars in comparison. I actually have, this is the first time I've looked at this. So we've got an RX-7. Looks like a Gen 1 RX-7 down here. This is the 2000 GT, Toyota 2000 GT. NSX right there, and I guess it almost looks like the evolution of pop-up headlights. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Didn't really think that. I guess I really should have looked at read the katakana here, but it looks like it's almost like the 86 is really iconic with this pop-up headlights and how it kind of gives it a sporty look when they're down, and then obviously when they're up. It's very iconic. The 2000 GT has them. The first gen RX-7s have that. Obviously the NSX too as well, and how they have pop-up headlights. Almost kind of goes into detail with these two as well. And you know, I know that there's a motor here. You've got a relay that you have to activate, and just kind of gives it a nice sporty look. Digital dash here, which was an option on some 86s. A lot of them have more just analog dashboards too as well. Cockpits around that too. And I think this is Sora. So like this is, I guess the Sora is it is a Toyota model, obviously, but it's actually a Lexus model in USA. I think that they didn't call it the Soar, but they called them like the SC400, SC300. They usually came with the 1JZ engine or the V8. Gosh, what is it? It's a V8, yeah, a V8 engine that came with them. I don't recall off the top of my head, but they're very, very nice cars. The 6-cylinder SC300 is the 1JZ engine. Obviously, it's a not the 2JZ, which you'd find in the Supras, but they are still very fast cars. More flavor text about the model kit too as well. I guess it's like a point system, maybe to get some more swag from them. Again, the upgrades that I'd love to get, but I'm not going to be able to get. Looking at the more flavor text on the Thor too as well. 2800 GT down there. That's out of focus or not for you guys. And we can just dive right into the parts that we have here. This is actually, it's a smaller kit, right? The size wise, but you can take a look. It is actually pretty complicated. Let's take a look and see what we have here. It looks like we have some engine components, fuel rail, fuel injectors, almost like exhaust. It looks like a gasket for the exhaust or intake. Headers? I don't think these are the headers. I don't think this is part of the. Yeah, this. Oh, so this is the intake. Part of the intake right here. And then this is the cross member, I believe, for the underneath the vehicle right here. Oh, is this in focus? I hope it is. Sorry if that was out of focus. Here, there are the parts there too as well. I'll double check and make sure that this is in focus for you guys so you can actually see it. And then what parts these are for. So actually, this is a cross member underneath the front of the vehicle. That looks like part of the power steering, and also the intake side of the engine too as well. You can kind of see there. And there are a lot of smart parts in this one. Oh yeah, this is part of the intake, no question. And then also again some more flavor text on like tire sizing and what do the different dimensions mean. And here are the different things you can look for in the nomenclature too as well. So it's actually really educational, this kit, which is kind of cool. As you guys know, Japan has a massive car culture, right? But not everybody drives cars, right? And they take a lot of people, majority of people take trains. So this kind of flavor text where you have like information about vehicles and how tire sizing is, it could really help some people who don't necessarily know a ton about cars or vehicles too as well. It's actually very difficult to get a driver's license in Japan too. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and put this to the side right now, and we'll get this all unboxed. Okay, we'll just go through these individually real quick. We have some screws here labeled the BM, AP, CM, and AM. Wow, these are super small pieces. Look at that. Sure looks like a fuel injector rail. I'm wondering off this sprue system if I'm going to have to cut this. It looks like I'm going to have to cut these off. The first pieces I would have actually, I'd have to cut off the sprue system. This actually does feel, this is casted, it's cast metal. This is the intake gasket, I believe, on the head. Another metal piece. Part of the fuel rail, but this is actually plastic. Part of the intake manifold. These are plastic, actually. These are not metal. It's like a power steering rack piece. Now this is actually metal too. Surprisingly, this is very hefty. And underside portion. Oh yeah, this is definitely metal. It looked kind of plasticky at first, but it is cold in my hands, I can tell. Pretty cool. And I believe that is all the pieces that we have to assemble today. So let's take a look at the first step. Looks like our first step is the bottom bracket piece. We're going to be attaching these support piece, the small one, to the bracket, and then attaching looks like the power steering rod to that. And we're going to be using screw 4A and 4D, and then using screw CM to attach these pieces. That looks like the orientation right here. First piece takes this CM screw. This is quite a long screw too. I'm going to save every single extra that I have just in case. And it looks like we put it into the orientation of right here, and we attach it right here. Might be hard to see as this is a black piece, but I'll go ahead and move it down so I can get a little bit more detail. Just attaching it right here. Inserting the screw right here. That looks like it's set. Now, next part is this. Okay. The orientation to be, this is going to have to be flipped around, I believe. Oh yeah, just flipped over like that. And then the orientation has to be like this. These parts pointed out. Just like that. The details that you need to know actually here. Let me zoom in on this. Is that there is actually a small difference. If you did it like this orientation and this orientation, we needed this orientation down. If you flip it over, even that's wrong, right? So you need to have this orientation down. We're going to be using screws BM, and then these two connector pieces down here. And you have to be mindful of the orientation. But it's actually kind of marked here. You can see it's indented right here. And then these connector pieces have a little bit of a indentation right there. So it's really almost like one way it can go. You can see that there. I think it's placed like right there. So the AM screws, there are AM and BM screws that we're using. And AM's going to go over here. These bottom ones are here. And the BMs are going to go on the top ones right there. Okay, we are actually done with this portion. This is a cross member. It's going to go underneath the vehicle, but they probably want to spread this stuff out so that it keeps it interesting. Kind of, you can see that got this attached, and we'll see where this goes in a future episode. But right now, we're going to put this to the side as that complete piece. Okay, the next part is going to be the fuel rail and the fuel injection system. It looks like we got some fuel pressure regulators here. We've got to take one of the small ones, and there's two holes we got to reference off of, and the other one has actually a semicircle edge you'll be able to use. Should be pretty easy to just get these quickly installed. But one thing I want to point out on this page is you can see it right here. This is the fuel injectors right here, and this is actually the first cutting part that we're going to be doing. I recommend these Play-Doh side cutters, they call them, but they are flat on the edge. You can see right there, and they usually give a very, very clean cut. They're automatically opening, so you don't have to worry about weird jagged edges. One thing, these are pretty cheap, so you don't need. I would say if you ever get to a point where your cutting edge gets all janked up or jagged, replace them. You can get actually a big lot of them for pretty cheap. But you can see the details right here of what we're going to be doing. You can actually see the. I'll actually put this down and zoom in. You can see the fuel injectors are going to be put inside on the fuel rail right here. So they're actually going to be this detail. And it's so funny is that you're not going to see these anymore. Once you get these inserted on the head, the block, they're just going to kind of disappear. And something like this detail right here that we have, it's almost like a 1-to-1 scale right there. Really cool to see it, but these will eventually be completely hidden in the engine. These are the fuel injectors. So again, as I said in the last part, it's just really cool to see these details that are so hyper detailed, and yet they're for you as a builder to see them versus like what you would see, in just other model kits where you don't even get that kind of detail. So, okay, so let's just get started on the fuel rail. Here is the rail itself in detail. You can see the two, let's go zoom in a little bit more. This is the max zoom right here. The two details that we have. Actually, in the picture, it's rotated this way. So we've got two holes here and then the one hole there. Here's one of the regulators here. Very, very small. We'll use the tweezers for that. And then the orientation is actually, right here. And it goes right in these two holes. There it is. And here's another piece of the fuel system. And this one has a kind of a semicircle end, so you know exactly which orientation as it is on the fuel rail. I even had it backwards. It's so tiny. are set. Great. And then the next part is the actual fuel injectors are actually going to go into here, right here. So let's grab our fuel injectors, and in their illustration, we should take their side cutters and use them on this edge. So you have a nice flat edge right there on the side cutter, and you're able to just kind of nip it like there. Let's do it this side that they have here. You can see the material as the plastic is shot into here. It goes out to these small detail parts, and the best way to do it is to kind of get right under there. Let me center that a little bit. Right there. Right under it. There's one. Two. Three. And four. And now this could just be tossed away. And we could take a look at these fuel injectors real quick. So tiny. Now the orientation from what I'm seeing in the diagram, that the fuel rail will stay there, and then they will be inserted kind of like this with the tail up in the air. Just get it on tweezers. Make sure you guys can see. Goes right here. Oops. Right in here. Maybe I'll just use my fingers instead of the tweezers. Right in there. Just like that. The detail's crazy. I'll do the rest as well. There you have it. Fuel rail, fuel regulator, fuel pressure regulators, and the fuel injectors. What a cool detail. And for the last part of this issue, we are assembling the intake manifold portion of the engine. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to have the orientation of this metal gasket here in this direction. Let's go ahead and try to make sure you get this focused. You can see it. Right here. And we take this piece and we literally just insert it 1, 2, 3 right there. And we're going to take a screw AP right here and screw this on. go. This side only has one screw, and then this one right here only has 2 connection points, and it's going to get actually 2 screws. Got rid of one of these AP screws. One more AP screw. And we are done with the intake manifold side of the engine. Okay, that was part 4 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 1/8 scale model by DeAgostini. Today, as recap, we assembled a bottom bracket for underneath the vehicle, and I believe this is going to be for the power steering, and this is all metal. We did the fuel rail with the fuel injectors and the fuel pressure regulators, as well as the intake manifold portion of the engine too as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thanks very much. If you'd like the video, please give me a like and a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. If you want to see more content like this, I'd love to subscribe too as well. But I'll see you guys in the next video in part 5. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.